Hello people, I'm 11 Telstar, and I want to tell you all that you are living in a socially engineered society. As it was written in Between Two Ages, America's Role in the Technotronic Era by Z. Bignew Brzezinski, National Security Advisor under President Jimmy Carter. One of the best books you can read from an Illuminati member that knows exactly where we're headed. That's a very expensive book, by the way. They don't want everybody reading that book. First of all, you are meant to be distracted with a myriad of different things. It was written in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion over 150 years ago, an Illuminati Masonic document. I know this for a fact because I am a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason. And I can also tell you right here to clear the record up that the Illuminati definitely exists. I've had a falling out with one of them. I've had my life threatened with death and destruction. They definitely exist. Okay? They never went away. They have been operating under the table for many years. They're operating through a myriad of different organizations. They own the central banking of this nation and the world in Europe. Not the entire world, this nation in Europe. The Rothschilds, the Illuminati House of Rothschilds, started our central, and they also own most of the central banks of Europe. And they took control of the banking industry and the banking to be able to manipulate governments. Governments that couldn't pay back loans, they were able to pay back with allowing the Illuminati to manipulate their country and their resources, to tap into the nation's resources and their political equity that way. The Illuminati does exist. In the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, written over 150 years ago, they talk about, in the 13th Protocol of the Elders of Zion, they talk about wanting to create games and sports of all kinds to distract the masses. Games and sports of all kinds. We have PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, football, baseball, basketball, you name it, badminton. We've got so many different sports and games to distract the masses. They want to have you distracted with games, with sports. They said anything you're overcome by, they're going to give you more of it. If you're overcome by lust, they want to give you more of it. Look at the widespread pornography we got today. If you're overcome by drugs, they want to give you more of it. Hell, the government is taking over the drug industry. They're allowing states to sell drugs now. Marijuana and other drugs that they will legalize soon and take it out of the hands of the drug dealers and let the government run it and make a profit off of it. The government's been involved in the drug industry anyway for years. The CIA and the mafia have been working together hand in glove, importing drugs and selling drugs in this nation. The CIA and the NSA have been in bed with organized crime for over 40, 50 years. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's what's happened with our CIA and our NSA. They've been given hundreds of billions of dollars under the guise of national security, and they have done a lot of evil stuff with them. They have done a lot of evil things with them. They look up Dr. Jose Delgado, who was working with microchips and being able to study the human mind and how radio frequency waves can manipulate. He first started out with dogs and animals. He was stopping charging bulls with a radio frequency, electromagnetic radio frequency wave, with electrodes on a bull's head back in the 60s, over 40, 50 years ago. And imagine where they went with this technology now. The Illuminati wants to crash the entire financial system. They want to have us go to the microchip in all of us, which is either a precursor or the actual mark of the beast from the Bible and from the book of Revelations. And it says in the book of Revelations, if you accept the mark of the beast or the number of its name in your right hand or your forehead, your names will not be written in the book of life of the Lamb, and you will suffer eternal hell and perdition if you accept the mark of the beast. And it says you cannot buy or sell without the mark of the beast in your right hand or your forehead in the last days of the world. Well, these are the last days of the world, people, believe it or not. Noah, So will it be in the last days of the end of the world. Christ said, his apostles asked him, when will you see the signs? And Christ said, well, when there will be wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilence, disease, the elements will not know their places, earth, air, fire, and water will not know their places. And this is some of the things you'll see, and there'll be signs in the sun, moon, and the stars in the last days of the world. The Illuminati wants to crash the whole financial system and have us go to the mark of the beast, or a precursor to it, with the microchip, because they want to be able to manipulate, dominate, and control us on an individual level. They want to enthrone the Antichrist over the one world government that they are creating. The Illuminati wants to destroy all national governments and religion. They are succeeding at that. By their clandestine nature, they have great power, because in their great secrecy they operate. They infiltrated the Masonic organization at the Congress of Wilhelmsbad in 1782. They have infiltrated and elevated their people to power throughout every facet and realm of government. They have taken over the news media, as they planned on doing over 150 years ago. If you read Proofs of a Conspiracy, written in 1798, their goals were to take over the news media. If you read the protocols of the elders, the protocols of the wise elders, the learned elders of Zion, the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, you will see that their goals are taking over the news media and giving us nothing but sensational nonsense and garbage. Over 150 years ago that was written, and it has come true so far. They have succeeded in that. It is an authentic document. As a Mason, as a 32nd degree Mason, I can validate that and confirm that. Everything written in that document has come true. It is an Illuminati Masonic document. Whether it was written by an Illuminati Masonic Jew really has no bearing on it. Yes, nihilists tried to take the pressure off the Tsar of Russia by making it look like it was a Jewish document, so they blamed the Jews, and so the pressure would be off the Tsar, but it's irrelevant. It's still an Illuminati Masonic document. The whole thrust of this, what I'm telling you, though, is because 120 years ago, there was a book written called The Secret Doctrine by Helena Blavatsky. She was a witch and a Satanist. She said that the serpent from the Garden of Eden and the Lord God are identical. She wrote on page 384 of Book 1 of The Secret Doctrine about the coming of an individual called Maitreya. This was written 120 years ago now. She said he's the fifth Buddha the Buddhists are waiting for, the Krishna the Hindus are waiting for, that he's a Kalki avatar, the Imam Mahdi the Muslims are waiting for, all these things. Fast forward 120 years, people, right now, there's a guy living in London, England, at the Terrace Centre in England, called Maitreya, Lord Maitreya. The British monarchy has bestowed the title of Lord upon him, kind of like Lord Vader from Star Wars. Okay, he's claiming to be all things to all five of the world's religions. He has allegedly shown great signs and wonders as to lead astray many people. And he's preaching peace and love to the world, and he's going to make a national, international. This individual, Lord Maitreya, is none other than the Antichrist talked about from the Bible. He is. He is this flesh and blood son of the devil, the Antichrist. He is suspected as being the Antichrist by many Christian theologians and myself as a Christian and a soldier of Christ. I believe he is. All the dots I've been able to connect with him, from the Secret Doctrine to, and Helena Blavatsky, who wrote the Secret Doctrine, had a magazine called Lucifer at the turn of the century in the late 1800s. And then Alice Bailey came along years later, who was one of the founders of the New Age movement, who was a follower of the Secret Doctrine and Helena Blavatsky and her predictions of Maitreya on page 384 of Book 1 of the Secret Doctrine. Then Alice Bailey comes along and creates Lucifer's Trust, now shortened to Lucis Trust, Lucis. They publish all the material for the United Nations, and they just happen to be waiting for the world teacher. And there in the Alice Bailey is Lucis Trust, combined with the United Nations, who works for the United Nations, is claiming that their world teacher is Lord Maitreya, Maitreya. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He is the flesh and blood son of the devil, the Antichrist. You shall not believe him. Do not take his mark. Do not worship him. He is claiming to be the Messiah the Jews are waiting for, the Imam Mahdi the Muslims are waiting for, the Jesus Christ the Christians are waiting for, the fifth Buddha the Buddhists are waiting for, and the Krishna the Hindus are waiting for. And he's none of these things but a wolf in sheep's clothing, out to deceive and betray all of you in the end. Anyway, God bless all of you, and until